The Enduring Mystery of Bigfoot by Dr. Elizabeth Harper, cryptozoologist and biologist. In the shadowy depths of North America's vast wilderness, a towering figure has long captured the imagination of explorers, scientists, and laypeople alike. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, is an enigmatic creature that has been the subject of fascination, speculation, and investigation for centuries. While many have focused on the physical evidence for Bigfoot's existence, such as footprints, hair samples, and blurry photographs, there is another dimension to this mystery that is often overlooked: the rich tapestry of Native American legends and lore surrounding Bigfoot-like creatures. As a biologist and historian specializing in cryptozoology, I have long been intrigued by the Native American roots of the Bigfoot phenomenon. My research has led me to a startling realization: these indigenous traditions are not mere myths or superstitions, but rather a complex and sophisticated body of knowledge that provides crucial context and deeper meaning to the Bigfoot mystery. By delving into the stories, beliefs, and practices of Native American tribes across the continent, we can gain a more holistic understanding of what Bigfoot represents and why it continues to captivate us. The many names and faces of the Native American Bigfoot. One of the first things that struck me in my research was the sheer ubiquity of Bigfoot-like creatures in Native American folklore. From the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest to the rolling hills of the Appalachians, indigenous peoples have long told stories of giant, hairy, human-like beings that roam the wilderness. These creatures go by many names, each reflecting the unique cultural and linguistic traditions of the tribes that tell their tales. The Lummi people of the Pacific Northwest speak of Tsemiques, a race of nocturnal, hairy giants that dwell in the mountains and forests. The Salish call them Sasquatch, which means wild man in their language. The Algonquin tribes of the Northeast have legends of the Witico or Wendigo, a malevolent, cannibalistic spirit that possesses humans. The Shoshone of the Great Basin know of Sea Telk, a powerful and dangerous creature that roams the high desert. And the list goes on. The Yokut of California have Mayak Datat, or Hairy Man. The Hupa have Oma, the Chickasaw have Lofa, the Choctaw have Champe. There are over 50 documented names for Bigfoot-like creatures in Native American traditions, each with its own unique characteristics and associated stories. What's remarkable is not just the diversity of these names, but the continuity of the traditions surrounding them. Many of these legends have been passed down orally for generations, with some stories dating back hundreds or even thousands of years. This suggests that the Native American Bigfoot is not a recent invention or a product of modern media hype, but rather a deeply rooted and enduring part of indigenous cultural heritage. Bigfoot as a supernatural and spiritual being. As I delved deeper into these Native American Bigfoot traditions, I began to realize that these creatures were not simply regarded as undiscovered animals or relict hominids. In many indigenous worldviews, Bigfoot is imbued with supernatural powers and spiritual significance that go far beyond the physical realm. Many tribes ascribe shape-shifting abilities to Bigfoot, believing that they can transform into other animals or even humans at will. The Lummi tell stories of Tsemiques appearing as a deer or a bear to trick hunters, only to reveal their true form when shot with an arrow. The Nootka of Vancouver Island believe that Sasquatch can turn invisible or teleport from one place to another in the blink of an eye. Other tribes see Bigfoot as an interdimensional being, capable of moving between the physical world and the spirit realm. The Lakota of the Great Plains believe that Bigfoot is a manifestation of Chietanka, a powerful spirit that can bless or curse humans depending on their actions. The Apache of The Southwest have stories of Mogollon Monster, a shape-shifting sorcerer that can control the weather and cause sickness in those who offend it. In many Native traditions, Bigfoot serves as a kind of intermediary between the human and natural worlds, enforcing taboos and moral codes. The Yurok of Northern California believe that Oma is a guardian of the forest, punishing those who take more than they need or fail to show proper respect for nature. The Choctaw have stories of Shamp, a hairy giant that kidnaps children who misbehave or wander too far from camp. These supernatural and spiritual dimensions of the Native American Bigfoot add a layer of complexity and depth to the phenomenon that is often missing from mainstream accounts. They suggest that Bigfoot is not just a biological puzzle to be solved, but a powerful symbol of the mysteries and forces that animate the natural world. They guard and respect the natural order. The Yakama tell stories of Ka Linmi, a hairy giant that sneaks into camps at night to steal children who have wandered too far from the fire, teaching them a lesson about obedience and the importance of staying close to the community. Taken together, these tribal traditions paint a picture of Bigfoot as a complex and multifaceted figure, one that is deeply woven into the fabric of Native American cultural identities and spiritual beliefs. They challenge us to look beyond the surface-level fascination with the creature's physical reality and to consider the deeper meanings and lessons that these stories have to offer. The resilience of their traditional ways of life. Native Americans may have found a way to preserve their cultural identity in the face of overwhelming odds. Of course, these connections between Bigfoot and Native identity are not without their complications and controversies. Some indigenous people have criticized the way that Bigfoot has been appropriated and commodified by non-Native researchers and entrepreneurs, often without proper respect for the sacred stories and traditions that surround these creatures. Others have argued that the emphasis on Bigfoot as a kind of noble savage or romanticized symbol of indigenous resistance can obscure the very real struggles and challenges faced by Native communities today. Despite these tensions, however, the enduring power of the Native American Bigfoot legend speaks to the deep and abiding connections between indigenous peoples and the natural world. By studying these stories and traditions with care and respect, we may gain a deeper appreciation, not just for the mystery of Bigfoot, but for the rich and complex histories of the first peoples of this land. A foul stench. Others reported finding strange footprints and other signs of the creature's presence, such as broken branches and overturned logs. As word of the Ape Canyon incident spread, local Native American tribes began to come forward with their own stories and traditions surrounding Bigfoot-like creatures in the area. The Yakama people, for example, told of the Ka Linmi or mountain devils, hairy giants that were said to steal children and attack humans who ventured too far into their territory. The Lummi spoke of the Tsimequis, a race of hairy, nocturnal forest dwellers that could hypnotize humans with their whistling. These Native American stories added a new layer of depth and complexity to the Bigfoot legend, suggesting that the creatures were not just a recent phenomenon or a product of overactive imaginations, but rather a deep-rooted part of the region's history and culture. They also hinted at a possible explanation for the Ape Canyon incident and other Bigfoot sightings in the area, as the creatures were often described as fiercely territorial and prone to attacking humans who encroached on their domain. As more and more settlers began to report Bigfoot sightings and encounters, they often turned to local Native American tribes for explanations and context. In some cases, this led to a kind of cross-cultural exchange, as indigenous peoples shared their stories and traditions